He's deputy, this is council.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not.
What would you do without me straightening you out? Listen,
Yes. I'll answer that later, Keith, when we're outside.
but you have a report to read. You don't listen. You listen to your left, not to your right.
Listen, I'm
All right, I would call this meeting of Council for Policy and in-camera items to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki in the district of Sipekne'katik, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. East Hants further acknowledges the 50 African Nova Scotian communities whose 400-year history have contributed to the province's culture, history, and legacies. We are all treaty people. And just before we go into our agenda, let's see here.
We can move number 5 to next week. Next
We
month,
can move number 5, item number 5
to next month.
can be moved to next month.
The rest we should try and slot through.
We will try and get through the rest. If we're unsuccessful, we'll figure what we're gonna move then. Just before I go to Councillor Garden Cole with the report from Corporate and Residential Services Committee, the CAO has asked to make a comment concerning the dog control discussion we had earlier. She sent an email previously, so I'll allow her some.
So councillors, thank you, Madam Warden. I did send an email out after your conversation this morning around dog control and the waiving of fees for 4 days for kenneling services and impound services for the first offense. Following that, I had a chance to talk with staff, and as usual, my recommendation is to never make policy on the fly. It turns out there are other counties around us that have a similar very low kenneling fee, and people do abuse it by letting their dogs run at large, get picked up by the dog catcher, and then pick them up on Monday or Tuesday morning and pay $40 for kenneling fees for the weekend. So I'd like to avoid that. We also got some information around the question that I believe it was Councillor Rhino asked about the numbers. So last year we had 5 dogs that were seized by the SPCA in East Hants. None of them were running at large. They or picked up as a lost dog. So they were all picked up as for other reasons like fierce and dangerous. The other piece to this is when talking to staff, it would be our intent that we wouldn't just go and impound a dog at a kennel. So we would make all attempts after hours and during the day to make sure that we check the lost dog network, use our own communication channels to find a dog or find the home for the dog, let people know it's missing. East Hants wants to know, other community groups, things like that. So we're not talking about a lot of times when we would actually impound a dog at a kennel for a long weekend without any, it's not going to happen often. So I'd request that you do have a policy change that you have to give notice of during this council meeting. I would propose that council either send this back to staff to come up with wording on how and when we would waive fees, or amend the existing motion to state that the waiving of kennel and impound fees could be removed from the motion, and that a clause in the policy be added that gives the bylaw enforcement officer on call the ability to waive the fees if it's in line with your values. And then I would make sure that they understood what your values were. Shirley, do you want to put my, it's just an email, or put the council agenda up? The council agenda? There's nothing on there. So I think there is an easy solution if you add wording in your policy that just says the bylaw enforcement officer dealing with the situation can make that call of giving back a dog if it aligns with our administrative policies, and then I can make sure that we have administrative policies in place that align with the conversation you had this morning around, lost family dog. Maybe they were, not within Wi-Fi for the day, so they couldn't find the lost dog network, and they finally got it back at 9 o'clock. And like all those things can just be use our common sense and judgment. But I wouldn't want to put in a policy that will create more work and allow people to abuse the good nature of council's decisions and be used against them. So it's entirely up to you. We can move forward with what you talked about this morning, but there are some problems with that from a public policy perspective. Thanks.
Counselor Rhino.
Well, thank you, Madam Warden. I understand, but that was a motion to recommend it to council, which was made in the executive. And wasn't that going to next Wednesday nights?
Through you, Madam Warden, the policy changes have to be recommended by this council meeting
Okay,
to next council meeting. You have to give 7 days notice of a policy change and what that change is gonna be. So if you just go from what you talked about this morning, your policy change for next week will be that you have 4 days of free impounding, or free kenneling, and free impounding for the first offense.
so we would, as a council, we would not have to take that recommendation we could just create a new motion, could not we?
Right now, as council, you're taking that recommendation and giving notice that that will be your policy come next Wednesday.
Okay.
I find it difficult to imagine that there are a lot of people out there who are going to turn their family pets loose in the streets and go away for a 4-day weekend with the hope that we'll impound their dog and keep it for 4 days. I just find it very difficult to wrap my head around that. Anyway, Councillor Garden Cole.
Well, so are we taking something out and putting something in?
Well, the question that Councillor Rhino raised is a good one. The motion that is coming to us now is from committee, and it is with the 4-day, up to 4 days for a first offense. That's the motion that's coming here to council from committee, to make that 7-day notice of intent to change the policy. So I'm not sure if I don't know just how we change it here. I guess we could.
But we're not bound, what I'm trying to get at, we're not bound to take that recommendation upon the new information we're given. So we could just, we don't even.
But we would
have to
not
read
be
that.
able, to change our policy at council on Wednesday
But we
night.
could, if I could finish, we could make a new motion here that will do the same, another motion. We don't have to take that motion, we can create a
Exactly.
motion here.
Right.
That is the point. This motion that will be coming forward, we could defeat that, or we could amend it to
We don't
remove
even have
the,
to do that,
yes, we do.
I don't think, because it's a recommendation, and we don't have to accept a recommendation.
We are in council. So we have to deal with this motion.
It's only a recommendation, so I'll.
Through you, Madam Warden, the other option is to just ask us to take it back and get some proper language in place. And then we could do this next month. I don't think this has to go this month, John.
That might be the safest thing.
I would prefer not to pass what you passed this morning until you've had some time to think it through and look at the policy perspective.
So I would suggest when this motion comes forward, that we either defeat it or we move to table it pending further information from staff, one or the
Yes.
other. Councillor Perry.
I'm just waiting for the motion to come forward to make that motion.
Okay. Sorry.
So you're gonna make that motion.
So we'll go to corporate and residential services, Councillor Garden Cole.
The committee held its regular meeting on February 17th, 2026 in council chambers. The following motion is coming forward as a result of that meeting. First item, municipal fee policy. Staff presented the dog bylaw amendments to bylaw P-1000 report, including recommendations to update the municipal fee policy to add impound and redemption fees.
You have to read the motion.
Yeah. You're required to read the motion that's there.
The Corporate and Residential Services Committee recommends that council gives notice of intent for updates to the municipal fee policy, including the addition of impound and boarding fees as attached to the Executive Committee agenda dated February 17th, 2026. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Moved and seconded. Counselor Perry to the motion.
I move to table this report
We're going to table it.
until next
Motion.
executive meeting, and that staff bring back a report on how to waive fees and amend the existing motion to state that the waiving of kennel impound fees be removed from the motion.
Just say
Can I
more
do that, or
information.
just say, should I read it all through?
Just
No.
table.
I would just move to table this motion pending a further report from staff next
Okay,
month.
that's the way I'll do it then. Moved,
Second it.
The
done.
motion to table is non-debatable, so we'll go to the vote.
Need to sign back in.
I did. Motion is passed unanimously.
There we go again.
All right. I would now be looking for a motion to go in camera to discuss some contractual issues.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Motion is carried. We will give staff time to take us in camera. Oh, that's Sanders. Yes, I would report that we met in camera to discuss some contractual issues. There are no motions coming forward at this time from those discussions. There being no other business on the agenda for this evening, I declare this